I would appreciate a nice hand and warm welcome to Kyle Rancourt.
Is that good? Loud and clear. Can you hear me? Have you ever taken something for granted and been paid back with a healthy dose of reality? There's a Japanese proverb that says, "The nail that sticks out gets hammered down." And I want to tell you a story about how that happened to me. My family's been making shoes in Lewiston for over 50 years. And the Japanese have a real appreciation for the handcrafted quality of our shoes. I remember my father traveling to Japan when I was a kid, and I was fascinated by this. It was somewhere that I always wanted to go. I remember Japanese businessmen coming to visit us, and I was so intrigued by them and their culture, their way of life, and it was just something I was so fascinated with. I finally got the opportunity to travel to Tokyo in 2011 on a business trip, and I was in complete awe of the place. It was unlike anything I had ever seen before. It was so foreign to me. Nobody spoke English, and they really upheld these centuries-old traditions, and they placed the highest value on politeness and modesty and order. For example, on the Tokyo metro trains, there are signs posted in Japanese and in English that say, "No cell phone use." The train is meant to be a very quiet place for, rest and reflection. It's strange to see people falling asleep on a stranger's shoulder on a subway car, and in Japan, this sort of thing happens all the time. So over the past 4 years, I've been able to travel to Japan many times, and I've become very close with my company's representative there. His name is Masa. He's become like a brother to me, like family. And when I go to Japan, I stay with Masa and his family at his home. So, in my opinion, I've had a true and a real Japanese experience. I never felt like a tourist because I didn't stay in hotels. The last time I was there, my most recent trip in October, Masa and I had gone out for dinner and drinks. And if you know one thing about Japanese guys, they like to drink. So we were feeling pretty good. We were a little bit intoxicated. And we were getting on the Tokyo metro to take the train back to Masa's home. He lived in a suburb about 40 minutes outside of Tokyo. And Masa's a short guy. He's about 5'5". He's always wearing this navy wool cap and cargo pants and a vest. You'd never guess that he was in the fashion business. He looks like he just got off working on a fishing boat or something. So we're getting on the train. It's about 11:30 at night. I have my headphones in. I'm listening to music. Again, I had a few drinks, so I was feeling pretty good. I was, dancing a little bit. Masa took his place by the door. He was standing there, and I had my headphones in. The train was crowded. It was full, but it wasn't completely packed. All the seats were taken, and I was standing in the middle. It was filled with mostly Japanese businessmen who were probably out doing the same thing that we were doing. They're all in their black suits, black ties, black shoes. It's sort of the standard dress code for a young Japanese businessman. So I get a phone call on my iPhone, and I answered it. Big mistake. I start talking, of course, drawing all this attention to myself. I get off the phone, I look over at Masa, and I see that he had fallen asleep standing up, leaning against a pole. So I go up to him, I take my phone out, and I start snapping a couple pictures of him, thinking to myself, we're going to laugh about this later when I show him pictures of him passed out standing up on a subway train. I see out of my periphery, a hand comes in and slaps my phone violently out of my hand. My phone goes crashing to the floor. I'm completely shocked. I couldn't imagine my phone getting slapped out of my hand in New York City, let alone in Japan. I turn around, I see a 50-year-old Japanese guy, short, black hair, navy blue suit. His face is beet red, and he's screaming at me in Japanese. I have no idea what to do. I'm terrified. So I shake Masa and I wake him up and I say, Masa, tell him it's cool. I wasn't fucking with you. We're friends. And Masa's confused. He's a little bit drunk. And he starts speaking English to the guy, saying, this is my brother. What are you doing, man? And I'm like, no, you have to tell him in Japanese. He continues to speak English to the guy. And all of a sudden, I see this realization wash over this man's face, like, oh, I might have just made a really big mistake. Right on cue, the train stops, the doors open. He says, it's okay, and he takes off out the door. I realized that I had taken for granted my place in their culture. I was still very much a foreigner and an outsider, and I was judged as one. I had forgotten that I was a guest and a visitor in their country, and I was expected to respect their rules and values. And the very moment I stopped doing that, I got hammered down. So, thank you.